Hi, I'm Terry from Mr. Locksmith. I do a lot of training, and here's a common question I have different training methods for commercial residential locksmithing versus automotive locksmithing. And just to give you a rough idea, here's a bit of a comparison. If we take Kwikset locks, so from 1970 to present, we basically have two keyways almost, or we have one keyway. We have the 5-cut Kwikset key, KW1. We also have the 6-cut KW10. So we have two Kwikset keys. They have a Slage SC1 is a newer SmartKey lock, but it's not widespread at the moment. So it's from 1970 to present, we basically have pin tumbler, and the last 10 plus years we have the SmartKey locks. So we basically only have one sort of keyway, 5-cut and a 6-cut. And if we get down to our deadbolts, single cylinder deadbolts, we basically have two types. We have regular pin tumbler and we have SmartKey cylinders. And out of those deadbolts, there's probably 3 different versions that come apart slightly different. And if we go into the key and knobs, we have pin tumbler and we have SmartKey. And again, there's probably only 3, maybe a 4, depends how you want to cut it, different ways of taking apart those Kwiksets. So again, there's lots of brands of locks, but I'm just saying, here's Kwikset. We know since 1970 to present, it's basically, that's why we can sit you down with a hands-on course and you get a really good feel for that type of lock pretty quick. And cuts of the keys are 1 to 6. So spacing is 1 to 5 or 1 to 6, and depths are 1 to 6. So there's no zeros, there is a 7, but that's another story. Now let's compare this to automotive locksmithing. And I'm just going to take Fords. So from 1970 to present, just the Fords, we have hundreds upon hundreds of different models. And let me just go, I got to look at my notes for this. So basically, from the 1970s to present, we have a 5-cut double-sided mechanical key. We have a 10-cut double-sided mechanical key and an 8-cut double-sided mechanical key. We also have some Tibbies, which are a little bit rare, the Jaguars and the early Ford Transits. Now we get into the more modern keys. We have 7-cut laser edge keys. We have a 10-cut laser edge key. We have a 10-cut laser internal key. So that's just the key differences. Now we have a whole pile of different transponder chips in these keys and fobs. So again, reading off my list here, what I've got, we have PATs 1 to 4, and 1 to 4. But I think there's a 5 and a 6 out now. We have the CAN systems. We have the OBD programming. We have the EEPROM programming. We have BCM programming, and we have the new Ford FDRS system from approximately 2021 to now. Now, and again, with the chip keys, we have 80-bit, 128-bit chips. And also when we're trying to program these cars, we have a 10-minute wait time. Now let's get into the Ford FDRS systems. So not all cars have it. So basically we're seeing the F-Series, just to name a few, F-Series Escapes and Explorers from 2021 on. Now, the difference with this new FDRS system, it's a subscription system. So the subscription's about $1,200 US per year. Or you can pay by token. We'll talk about tokens on another video. So as well as you have to be a member of NASTF, NASTF. So that's another whole talk in itself. Then you need a computer, usually of course a notebook computer, that's compatible to the NASTF system. Then you need a J2534 interface. Now that's a bridge between your computer and the OBD-II. And then we haven't even talked about if you have an active alarm on your Ford. So what's the difference? Regular residential commercial locksmithing, basically the locks, once you learn some basics, you can transport, you can do that across all the different versions to a certain extent, just getting into regular pin tumbler, not high security. So again, very quickly, we can have hands-on class, you get right into it, you learn the mechanics, and you get in there keying it. And also picking it is quite easy. There's two, besides regular picks, there's two basic picks now, the Lishi picks, KW1, KW10, I gotta look it up again. But the two Lishi picks, one for five cut, one for 6 cut. And very easy to pick. But again, we teach you how to do quick sets, 1970 to present, and then we have electronic locks in there too. But it's no big deal. It's pretty good once you learn the basics. With cars, and I just gave you one example, Ford's from 1970 to present. It requires a bigger investment, but that also means a better profit margins, and also means you can be extremely busy doing automotive. Again, residential, commercial locksmithing, very profitable. I have some people that's all they do is residential, commercial. I have some that are just safe crackers. All they do is open safes. And then we get into the automotive locksmiths, and a nice combination is do both, is to do your residential, commercial locksmithing and top it off with your automotive. And if you have the population, there's nothing stopping you from just doing automotive again. And again, with the automotive, this is another video, but I'll add it on to this one. Automotive can come into, I call it the 3 types. You have the part-time locksmith, he buys a few equipment, makes a couple bucks. Then you have the codesmith. They get the codes, they cut the key. If they don't get the codes, they don't do it. And then we get the professional locksmiths that can originate keys without having a code. They can use Lishi picks to decode the lock. They know how to take the lock apart. They know how to get the codes. And then that's what I recommend you stick to: North American, Japanese, and Korean cars to start. Then we got to talk about the European cars, and that's another whole different type of locksmithing and a whole different type of investment. So, in a nutshell, automotive locksmithing is extremely profitable. So is regular residential commercial locksmithing. A combination of the two is just fantastic. If you have the population, you can support just doing cars only. So, I hope that answers some of your questions. Why do I have different training? And when you look at it, how we do our training for automotive is totally different how I do my training for commercial residential locksmithing. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I got a whole pile more coming. Please stand by.